After paying my brother's rent for 6 months and letting him stay in my guest room, I came home to find my bedroom door kicked in and my jewelry box empty. "You owe me for the childhood you ruined," he texted. My husband called the police, but my parents begged me to drop it. "He's family," my mom pleaded. I did. Until I saw my grandmother's necklace on his girlfriend's Instagram story. That's when I made a plan no one saw coming. I don't even know how to explain how much this still eats at me. I never thought I'd be telling a story like this. But here we are. I'm 39. I live just outside Columbus, Ohio, in a quiet neighborhood where people mow their lawns on Saturdays and bring cookies to new neighbors. My husband, Derek, and I have been married almost 12 years. We have stable jobs, no kids by choice, and we're not flashy. Just normal. We like peace and quiet. We like things calm. Which is why it still shocks me how fast things went to hell the moment I let my younger brother Riley back into my life. Riley is 35. And Riley has always been chaos. From the moment he could talk, he was yelling. Angry at everything. Angry at our parents. Angry at me. Angry at teachers. Angry at rules. We grew up in a hard home. Our dad drank too much. Our mom tried to keep up but mostly just gave up. There were loud fights and slammed doors almost every night. I coped by staying quiet, doing my homework, and trying to disappear. Riley coped by getting louder and breaking things. He never forgave me for not stepping in more. I didn't take sides when he and Dad fought. I didn't run interference. I just survived. I moved out at 18 and never really looked back. We stayed in touch off and on. A few Christmas calls. A text every birthday. He moved around a lot, different cities, different girlfriends, some jobs, some arrests. Never stable. Always blaming someone. Always chasing something. About a year ago, he called me. I was at work. He said he lost his job and was going to be kicked out of his place in Dayton. Said he'd been sober for a few months and was trying to get on his feet. Said he had nowhere else to go. I didn't say yes right away. I asked Derek that night. Derek said what he always says, he's your brother. I'll support what you want. So I called Riley back. I told him I'd cover 6 months of his rent, but only if he used that time to get stable. I paid his landlord directly. $850 a month. I told myself it was the right thing to do. That maybe this was his shot. 3 months in, I got a call from the landlord. Riley hadn't been there in weeks. Neighbors said he was partying. There was damage to the apartment. And then he disappeared. A week later, he showed up on my doorstep. No warning. Just a backpack and a bad attitude. I guess this is plan B, he said, smirking. Derek was at work. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want him in my house. But I didn't slam the door. I told myself, just a few weeks. Help him get back on his feet. He stayed in our guest room. The first week, he was quiet. Polite, even. He offered to cook one night, burned spaghetti. He said he had a job interview. Nothing came of it. By week 3, I knew we had a problem. He slept until noon every day. Smoked out back. Used our car without asking. Left dirty dishes everywhere. Talked to me like I was the reason he hadn't made it. You always got the good grades. You always had it easy, he said one night when I asked him to clean the kitchen. Don't act like you didn't step over my body to get out of that house. I didn't respond. I just went upstairs and cried. I hadn't cried about Riley in years. I told Derek I was ready to ask him to leave. Derek agreed. We made a plan to talk to him that Sunday. We never got the chance. That weekend, Derek and I drove to Indianapolis to visit his parents. We left early Friday and planned to be back late Sunday night. Riley said he'd be gone all weekend, staying with a friend. We got home around 10 p.m. Sunday. The front door was locked, but the keypad for our alarm system was off. Which was weird. I asked Derek if he turned it off remotely. He hadn't. Upstairs, our bedroom door was splintered and cracked like someone had kicked it open. Inside, drawers were pulled out. Jewelry box gone. My closet ransacked. Derek said something, but I couldn't hear. I was already pulling out the empty drawer where my grandmother's necklace used to be. It was gone. I checked my phone. A text from Riley. One sentence. You owe me for the childhood you ruined. Derek was furious. He picked up the phone and called the police. They came fast. Took pictures. Asked questions. I showed them the text. One of them said, "This is solid. He broke in, he stole property, and he's admitting motive. You want to press charges?" I froze. My hand was shaking. Then my phone rang again. It was my mom. I answered, barely able to breathe. "Don't do this," she said. "He's your brother. He's struggling." My dad got on the line. "Don't be dramatic. We've had enough cops in this family." I told the police it was a misunderstanding. That I didn't want to press charges. They looked disappointed but left. Riley didn't come back. I didn't hear from him for 2 weeks. Then my friend Julia sent me a screenshot of an Instagram story. It was a girl I didn't recognize, tagged in Riley's post. The story showed her smiling, drinking wine in a dark apartment, wearing my grandmother's necklace. My stomach flipped. I zoomed in. It wasn't just similar. It was the necklace. The emerald pendant. The gold chain. The little chip in the corner. There was no mistake. That's when everything inside me changed. I had let him in. I had helped him. I had dropped the charges. And he'd stolen from me, from our dead grandmother, and handed it to some random girl like it was nothing. I sat in that chair staring at the photo for over an hour. Then I made a plan. A plan no one saw coming. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing, not even Derek. I spent the next 3 days pulling every favor I had. I called a friend from college who now works in real estate law. Asked her what I'd need to do to pursue charges privately. She walked me through it. Told me I had more than enough to go after him civilly and criminally, especially with the necklace showing up online. The key was proving it was mine. So I started collecting proof. I pulled old photos of me wearing the necklace, birthdays, our wedding rehearsal, even one from Grandma's funeral. I found a picture of her giving it to me, right after she said, "Don't ever give this to someone who doesn't deserve your love." That one hurt. I printed everything. Made a file. Then I pulled our security footage from the house. Riley must have forgotten there were still cameras active near the side door. There he was. Saturday night, 10:13 p.m., sneaking in through the back. I took that file to a local police station, not the same department that came the first time. This one had a detective named Miller. He didn't blink. "This is more than enough," he said. "If he sold it or gave it away, it's still theft. Do you want us to move on this?" "Yes," I said. I didn't hesitate. 2 days later, I got a call from Detective Miller. They had found Riley's girlfriend, Tasha. She was living in a small complex downtown. They'd shown her the photos. She handed the necklace over immediately. Said Riley told her it was a family gift. Miller asked if I wanted to press charges against her too. I didn't. She seemed just like all the other people Riley dragged into his mess. Confused. Lied to. Disposable. But Riley? I wanted him to feel what it was like to lose everything. While the police moved forward with charges, burglary, theft, trespassing, I was preparing my own hit. I'd kept quiet on Facebook for years, but now I wrote a post with photos, the broken door, the empty drawer, the necklace on Tasha's Instagram. I didn't name Riley at first. I just told the story. How someone I trusted, someone I had helped, broke into my room and stole something that meant the world to me. It blew up. People commented by the dozens. Friends. Neighbors. Old high school classmates. People were shocked. Furious. A few messaged me privately asking if it was Riley. I didn't answer, until one of Riley's old friends tagged him. If this is the Riley I think it is, I'm not surprised. The comments exploded after that. That's when my parents called again. This time they were screaming. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" my dad yelled. "You're destroying his life over a piece of jewelry." "No," I said, cold. "He destroyed his life. I'm just not covering it up anymore." My mom cried. Said I was being cruel. Said I should have handled it in private. I hung up. Then Riley messaged me. "You're a spiteful bitch. Always have been." I didn't respond. He was arrested a week later. The police found more than just my necklace. Turns out he had pawned half the stuff he stole from my room, some of it traceable, some not. And he had unpaid fines from a DUI last year. He was denied bail. I wish I could say I felt relief. But it wasn't relief. It was something deeper. Something colder. I'd finally stopped saving someone who never deserved it in the first place. And I wasn't done yet. I thought that would be the worst of it. I thought once he was locked up, it would be over. But Riley wasn't done. 3 weeks after his arrest, I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. It was him. "You think you won? You don't even know what you've started," he said, his voice low, almost smug. "You think you're better than me, but I'm not the only one in this family with secrets." That stopped me cold. I didn't even know what he meant. But the next day, something else hit, something that felt unrelated at first. Derek came home from work pale. He tossed his bag on the floor and sat down without a word. "I got pulled into HR today," he said. "Someone sent them an anonymous email saying I've been stealing money from one of my clients. With screenshots." I sat up straight. "What? That's insane." He looked at me, eyes hard. They had a copy of a bank statement. An account I never opened. But it had my name on it. And 5 deposits. Each for just under $10,000. My stomach dropped. Riley. He knew just enough about us to make something like that look real. He'd seen our mail. Our files. He knew Derek worked with client finances. All he needed was to open a fake account, drop a few doctor documents into the right inbox, and boom, now Derek looked dirty. Derek was suspended pending investigation. That week was hell. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think straight. I started to doubt everything. How many doors had Riley opened while we were gone? What else had he taken? Who else had he dragged into this? Then the next twist hit. A letter arrived from a lawyer. Not mine. Not the cops. Riley's. He was filing a civil suit against me, from jail. Claiming I had made false public allegations, caused emotional distress, and defamed his character online. It was complete crap. But I still had to respond. I had to hire a lawyer. Pay fees. Spend hours gathering evidence I'd already given to the police. All while trying to keep Derek from losing his job. My parents? Silent. I finally called my mom. I was so angry, I was shaking. You see what he's doing to us? I shouted. He's trying to destroy our lives. Why aren't you stopping him? There was a long pause. Then she whispered, because he's not lying. What? About what he said. About the childhood stuff. There were things you don't know, honey. You were older, but you didn't see it all. What your father did to him, it was worse than we let on. I felt the air suck out of the room. You're saying that justifies this? I asked. You're saying he can burn my life down because he got hurt first? No, she said. But I'm saying, maybe it's why he wants you to hurt. That night, I sat on the back porch alone. The air was cold. The silence was worse. I didn't know what was true anymore. I didn't know how far Riley would go. But I knew one thing, if he wanted war, he had no idea how far I was willing to go, too. I didn't sleep for days after that call with my mom. Something broke inside me. Not just anger. Something deeper. I was tired of being the one who held it all together while everyone else lit matches and walked away. So I went all in. First, I hired a private investigator. Not cheap, but I was done playing defense. I wanted everything. Where Riley had been staying before the arrest. Who he was talking to. What he might have taken from us that we hadn't even noticed yet. The PI came back fast. Turns out, Riley had opened 3 bank accounts using Derek's name and info. He used them to move money, small amounts. To make it look like something shady. He used my printer, my Wi-Fi, our address. All traceable. He also pawned not just my jewelry, but Derek's grandfather's cufflinks and my wedding band. My wedding band. I hadn't even realized it was gone. But the worst part? The PI found out that the civil suit Riley filed, he wasn't doing it alone. He had help. From our dad. He was funding it. He'd paid the lawyer's retainer. Used a buddy from his union days. Not because he believed Riley's case. But because, in his words to the PI, recorded on a call, I want to see that stuck-up bitch of a daughter get knocked down a peg. That was the final nail. I gave all of it to the police. Every document. Every receipt. Every file from the PI. I also filed charges against my father for conspiracy to commit fraud. My lawyer said it was a long shot, but it sent a message. I didn't hide this time. I told everyone. Family. Friends. Online. I posted the full timeline. The screenshots. The bank stuff. The PI report. All of it. The internet did the rest. My father's job found out. He was quietly pushed out. My mom stopped speaking to me after that. The civil case dropped. Riley's lawyer bailed once he saw the evidence. The criminal case went forward. And this time, the DA added charges for identity theft and attempted fraud on top of burglary. Riley got sentenced to 6 years. I didn't go to the sentencing at first. But the night before, I changed my mind. I needed to see it through. He saw me in the back row of the courtroom. Didn't say a word. Just stared. When the judge handed down the sentence, Riley didn't flinch. But when the bailiff turned him around to cuff him, he looked at me and said, "You think this fixes anything?" "No," I said, loud enough for him to hear. "But it ends it." Derek was cleared by his work. They kept him on, said he handled the investigation with grace. It took a few months to rebuild trust, but he did. He always does. We changed all our passwords. Got a security system with facial recognition. Cut off my entire side of the family. No calls. No texts. Nothing. Sometimes people ask if I regret it. Here's the truth, Yes, I regret letting him in. Yes, I regret giving him chance after chance. But I do not regret burning the bridge. I used to think family meant you never gave up on someone. Now I know, sometimes, the only way to save yourself is to walk away while the bridge is still burning. And never look back.